Hello and welcome. My name is Tony Mazza here from beautiful Tucson, Arizona. With me today is Ambika Wauters, the author. She's a well-known author of 22 books on healing and psychology. Her books are published in 12 languages and have sold millions of copies around the world. She inspires people towards living greater health and abundant happiness. Ambika has traveled extensively and lived in Spain, Africa, and the United Kingdom. She's a certified classical homeopath with an international clientele and CEO of Life Energy Products, which develops homeopathic remedies for sexual vitality and health. Ambika, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on your show.
So, of all those places you lived, which one did you find the most interesting?
They were all interesting. Africa was fascinating. Spain was a wonderful, wonderful, passionate country. And England was where I learned. I learned a lot. I learned homeopathy there, and I became a writer in England. So they were all wonderful places for me.
Great. Tell us a little about why you wrote the book, what motivated you, the inspiration, and why should people consider reading the book?
The book is entitled Healing Martyrdom Through the Soul of Pleasure and the Spirit of Sexuality. And it comes out of 40 years of working with people and seeing people suffering. What stops people from making good choices for pleasure, for ease, for sexuality, for joy? And I felt it was a worthy topic to explore. It took me 3 years to write the book. It took me into my own soul psychology of patterns that were old patterns that didn't serve my life, didn't serve pleasure, didn't serve sexuality, didn't serve the aging process in a graceful way. So I had a lot of opportunity to explore my own life. I went to Jerusalem, which was the epicenter of martyrdom for 3 major religions, and had an opportunity to explore that aspect of martyrdom. And I came home and worked on this book for the past year and a half. And I feel it's a worthy book for people. I think it's a worthy topic to explore the nature of what stops us from our happiness.
Why pleasure, and why is it important?
Pleasure is the keystone to good health. Today, doctors are defining a condition called pleasure deficit disorder, in which people are unable to truly experience pleasure. They're numb, they're tired, they're worn out. So pleasure is the keystone to regeneration. It's how we come down from the tension of an active life, from work, dealing with a family, dealing with our problems, our finances, our health. And it's in pleasure that we regenerate. It's in pleasure that the body has a chance to catch up with itself.
Now, what about sexuality? There's a lot to be said about sexuality, of course, but it can also be cold, clinical, and non-pleasurable. So tell us a little bit about that area.
Well, when you combine sexuality with the emotions of your heart, you have full expression of your being. And sexuality is the icing on the cake. It's what the Creator gave us for the ultimate experience of pleasure. And it's only cold and clinical when the heart isn't involved. So when you couple your emotions with that sexual drive, it's bliss. It's just bliss.
So how does someone, like me for example, decide that I want more pleasure? How do I get it? And how will your book help me to drive me towards that pleasurable experiences and etc.?
Good question. I think the first thing we do is we examine our lives. We say, I'm working too hard, I'm not doing the things I really enjoy with the people I love. So we look at our lives and we make a choice to do a little less of that and a little more of this. A little more time with the kids, a little more time with friends, a little more time doing things that really give our life meaning and purpose. And I think that when we make room for pleasure, then when we go back into the workforce or deal with our projects, we're better prepared. We have more energy for it. So we need pleasure. We need to look at our lives.
Now let's talk a little bit about sexuality itself. I think there is sex without pleasure. I think without emotional involvement, you are denying yourself something very important, and that's the connection on the bond between you and another person. Without the emotional involvement, it's like a bicycle with only one wheel. You need both wheels for a smooth ride. How do you feel about that?
Well, I agree with you. I think it's coupling the emotions with pleasure and sexuality that let us know what and who is important in our lives. And, you can find something that's pleasurable for you that may not be for me, and it's your emotional involvement that makes it pleasurable. And it's the same with sexuality. It's our emotional involvement with another person that opens our heart and opens our mind to the infinite realm of possibilities of pleasure.
Well, I think you've touched on a very important area with the book. Especially, I think there are a lot of people that fall into this category, and they find themselves shackled of guilt and shame. And I believe your book will show people how to leave that area into a more satisfying, pleasurable life. Thank you, Ambika, for being with us. We wish you the best on your book and hope to talk to you again soon.
Thank you, Tony.
This is Tony from Tucson, Arizona, where it's still sunny. Bye.